It's that time of the year, Shat Ghosts and Gremlins. The annual Spooktacular is back with a blitz of Halloween movies to keep you entertained. So be sure to check your podcast feed and subscribe if you haven't already, because we'll be releasing 4 episodes between now and All Saints Day. And speaking of saints, you can help honor Big D's late cat Bella and all the departed critters of Shat Nation by donating to the Walk to Save Animals, where Sarah and Baby Lions and I will be walking our dogs to raise money for the Arizona Animal Welfare League, Arizona's oldest no-kill shelter. You can visit tinyurl.com/shatpod to contribute. I'm nearly halfway to my $500 goal, and your help will make a big difference in the lives of shelter pets. Grab your spooky snacks. It's time for the Spooktacular.
Remember when we first met John McClane? Argyle picked him up from the plane and took him down the Nakatomi Tower at the Christmas party. And the terrorists were overzealous, but it was sweet when they killed Ellis. And with a little help from Alan, John McClane kicked ass.
Welcome back to Shat The Movies, the podcast where we answer the question, were the movies we loved when we were growing up really that good? Have you ever caught yourself thinking, why don't they make movies like they used to? Can you still remember spending your Friday night searching for the perfect movie rental at Blockbuster Video? Do you know what Blockbuster Video is? If you answered yes, then this is the podcast for you. I am one of your hosts, Gene Lyons, and alongside me is my co-host, Big D, Dick Ebert.
Good evening.
And each week we take a look back in time, decide if our favorite films still hold up. The movies we cover are chosen by you, the listeners, who generously commission the films you love. If you like to sell the movies we have covered, will cover, want to choose one for yourself, please visit shatpod.com and have a look. At the end of each podcast, we'll provide you, the audience, with a number of wipes each movie take to get off your respective butts. So thank you so much for listening. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and share with a friend. It's how we help the podcast grow. Additionally, subscribe to our sister podcast, Shat on TV. Review TV series such as Westworld, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, True Detective, Lovecraft Country, and Watchmen. Find all information at past episodes at shatpod.com/TV. And finally, if you'd like to hang out with us live, follow and subscribe to our Twitch channel, shatpod.com/Twitch, and our YouTube channel where we play video games, host watch parties, and edit this podcast live. All that being said, Big D, what movie are you reviewing tonight?
Gene, it is that special time of the year. Both you and I live in the furnace, the hottest place in the United States. Today was the first day I woke up. There was a little chill in the air. I could feel it was a little cooler. And then I realized what was happening. We're getting to that time of the year, Gene. We're getting to like the Spooktacular. We're getting into scary October.
Baseball playoffs in full swing, no pun intended. Arizona, you can walk your dog outside after 6 a.m. Pretty exciting stuff. I've been looking at sweatshirts, bringing them out of the garage. Is it today? Is it tomorrow? I don't know, but it's coming.
It will come. And that's why I was so excited, because when we get into the Shat-tacular and the Spooktacular, it really gets us into it. And usually we only have the one film. But this year we've planned ahead. So we have a series of films to really celebrate the month completely. It starts off a little funny and light, and then it ends really scary and dark. And then we get some oddball films, which I'm sure you will love. But tonight's film, if it's kind of late 90s time capsule. It's stoner comedy, teen horror. It's MTV brain rot. You got a severed limbs. You got some weed jokes. It's dumb energy, hot topics clearance bin. So let me get into the math right away. The math, if we think Scary Movie times Pineapple Express plus Evil Dead 2 with Blink 182 doing the soundtrack, or Final Destination minus Logic plus the Addams Family hand on a budget. And last one, Shaun of the Dead divided by emotional maturity times Dude, Where's My Car? And that gets us to the film it has to be, which is the 1999 American teen comedy horror, Idle Hands. And Christopher was kind enough to send us a voicemail to explain why this film was perfect for the beginning of Spooktacular. So let's hear what Chris had to say.
Hey, Shat Crew. Hey, Gene. Hey, Big D, big fan. Hola, como você está? Hey, tudo bem? Bom dia. Anywho, thanks, Steve, for allowing me to slide Idle Hands into the October slot. And before I get ahead of myself, why do you guys not end every episode with "That's another Shat in the can"? Because every time you film a movie, it's in the can when they finish. Anywho, thanks for Idle Hands. It's going to be great. So the first time I ever seen it, it was me, my best friend, and it went to a dollar theater because it came out 2 weeks after Columbine. And they're like, yo, we cannot put this after Columbine. So anyways, then there was Jessica Alba, and me and Chad were looking at each other like, that can't be real. No way. You're kinky. That's what she says. So my dad, he died on Halloween. Big up to him. 25 years ago. On Halloween is his favorite holiday. So thanks so much for allowing me to commission this. Even though I paid money. Whatever. Gene, I can't wait to hear your social justice warranty. Warranty? No, that's not it. Anyway, Big D, love you. I used to date a Brazilian like for 2 years, went to Rio, came back, estou aprendendo português, sim, tudo bem. Ai, obrigado. All right, thanks, y'all. I'm looking forward to it.
I guess he's looking forward to it.
Chris sounds like Christopher Moltisanti from The Sopranos. That's what I'm imagining in my head is calling him. But Christopher, of course, we recall you from your illustrious past of this podcast, the trucker going from SLC to Reno every night. Don't love that your dad is dead as a fellow dead dadder.
No.
But love the fact that he got to have his favorite holiday as his day that he wants to go out. If I have to go, and I do, Halloween would be a lovely time to do it. Christmas, not so much. I think you ruin everybody's day. But Halloween, everyone goes, yeah, that's cool.
You almost have to wonder if, because Christopher, he seems like an outgoing guy, confident, fun. I almost picture his dad like his dad chose that day. You know, it would be fitting.
That gets significantly darker all of a sudden, but yeah.
Well, I think darker or funny. Look at, like, I think he appreciated it. You know, like when I die, I want it to be a celebration. I want everybody to come out, tell stories. They don't have to be the kindest. I want it to be a celebration of life.
Yeah, and Christopher, as far as me being a social justice warrior, I am going to start offering the social justice warranty on every podcast that we do. I'll be here to stand up for the rights of the downtrodden, the DEI hires, and those who have to punch up.
So, Gene, I thought it'd be fun if we could go back and let Christopher listen to himself from way back in December 2021 when he called in about Scream, and it's the origin of this commission. So let's hear how Chris was back then.
Chat crew, what up? I'm Christopher. I'm a truck driver. I listen to your stuff. I just found you a month ago, and I just listened to 5 years of freaking movie reviews. Awesome. And now I'm watching freaking Saving Ryan's Privates or something. It's a terrible movie. But anyways, I was listening to your Scream review. Oh, that was the funniest freaking, like, Shat review. I mean, I listened to it, like, back with Carrie, and I don't know what happened to her, but I skipped the episodes. Well, holy moly, I love this podcast, and now I have to get back to it to where I ran out of podcasts. So anyways, I drive from Salt Lake to Reno to Salt Lake, back and forth. So I listen to like 4 episodes per night, and now I'm up on whatever the crap you guys are doing now. All right.
I mean, pretty coherent.
Yeah, but he sounds like he could be sitting on the couch with Nubs and Mick and Anton. He sounds like an adult. Now he sounds polished. Yeah. He's bilingual. He's smooth. You see it's amazing what 4 years can do.
And dating a Brazilian.
Oh, it'll straighten you out quickly. Bravo.
Chris, it's fitting that we heard from you after Scream and that now you have commissioned Idle Hands, because Scream is a movie that comes up all the time when people are talking about Halloween movies. Every year, it's like, what are you going to put on? People always want to watch Friday the 13th, Hocus Pocus, Scream. There are so many to choose from. Unlike Christmas, you think about Christmas movies, there's really only about 5 or 6 that are any good. The rest of them are kind of dog shit, Hallmark crap, right? Halloween, you got tons of spooky films to choose from, but Idle Hands, it very rarely comes up. For some reason, when you're at the Halloween party, when you got a pizza coming in and you got your bowl of candy and it's getting chilly, you got the candles out and all that, nobody says, hey, let's watch Idle Hands. So I was really excited to look at it with a critical eye, not as a fan, and to try to pick it apart for its actual quality.
I think this film, unfortunately, he mentioned that he saw it in the dollar movie theater because of its proximity to the Columbine massacre. Mick should be a seasonal, you see it at every Halloween costume party. Why is there not a Mick and a Nubs with the bottle out of his head? They are so iconic. This movie, I think at a different time, could have exploded.
I think the makeup's hard to do. Well, Peanut's easy to do, but makeup's kind of hard to do, the bottle in the head. More importantly, I guarantee you, anybody under the age of 40 has not seen this movie. Nobody would know what you were. You could be a true Ghostbuster. They would still know what the fuck that is. You could be Chucky. They know what that is. But you know what? Peanuts and Mick, no respect.
But if Peanuts and Mick, if you and I went as it and one person knew who we were, it would be worth it. One person. That's the only reason you do this. And I, for some reason, granted, this came out right around the time that I was going into the military, so I didn't have a lot of free time on my hands. But from the poster, I thought this was a zombie love story. Similar to Warm Bodies. It's not the same. But going back now and watching it, I wish I had seen it at the time. I think this would have been one of those films I really enjoyed, like Not Another Teen Movie, or even some of the early Screams. So I'm glad. Christopher, thank you for easing us. He's going to ease us into the genre and this spooky time of the year.
Idle Hands is a 1999 box office bomb starring Devon Sawa, Seth Green, Eldon Henson, Jessica Alba, and Vivica A. Fox. The film's plot follows stoner Anton Tobias, whose hand becomes possessed and goes on a killing spree. The film received negative reviews from critics and grossed only $4.2 million from an estimated $25 million budget, which shocked me until I heard Christopher's explanation. Now it makes total sense. Nobody wants to watch a slasher flick right after a school shooting.
It's the same thing that did The Dark Knight Rises after there was a shooting in the theater. You don't want to go back and see that after like real world violence had happened.
Come on, you can't compare the two. Columbine was like a nation rocking event. The Dark Knight shooting? Come on.
What? Are you kidding me? I don't have the stats in my head.
Blip on the radar, my friend.
I don't know about that. It made people scared to go back to the theaters.
You think people stopped going to the theater because of the Dark Knight shooting?
How many do you think got killed? I'm not even going to look at it yet. I think it was at least a dozen.
I recall it being in the teens, but I bet you it's less than that.
If it is, that's sorry. If you and I went into a theater right now, not that I'm promoting this, with an AR.
You're not going to say it.
I'm just saying that I would have been more proficient than that. If it was less than 10, we were lucky. That's all I'm going to say.
It's funny. I've been having this debate. God, we're doing Shat on Guns again. I've been having this debate with friends about how many 5.56 mag carriers I need to have on a battle belt. And if you need more than one, in addition to what's in your rifle, what are you doing? You were in a movie theater is what you're doing. That is not a self-defense weapon at that point.
No, that's an assault loadout.
Yeah, and I feel terrible with how many shootings have been going on this year. By the way, guys, it should be very clear. I don't want to speak for Big D, but I am a firearm enthusiast who also believes in gun control.
I think it would be funny if we had a shooting contest with people who call us woke-ass liberals. To see our two woke-ass liberals outshoot people would be great.
I know I can outshoot the King Bee.
Oh, but that's not hard.
That's for sure. He's fucking terrible.
A Shat shoot-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we take the hardest core anti-shatters, and we take our liberal bullets and we shoot them down range.
I mean, hey, the way things are going 6 months from now, you might get your wish.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Happy Halloween, everybody. Let's hit the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on myself today. I'm dangerous.
Take a sexy girl.
How dangerous.
His hand killed us yesterday. Yeah, it sliced me up real good.
A desperate guy.
It's my hand. It makes me do things I don't want it to do.
And a pushy hand.
Sorry about your bush.
And you've got a comedy
You scream like a girl.
that dares to give scary movies
And now it's after my girlfriend. You got a girlfriend?
the finger. Idle Hands.
Look at me! I'm Leatherface!
Rated R. Opens everywhere April 30th.
Anton, a lazy stoner, fails to notice his murdered parents have been missing for 7 days. He runs out of weed and goes to his friend Peanut's house, where Peanut and his other friend Mick suggest that Anton should talk to Molly, a girl Anton likes. Anton sees that Molly dropped her lyrics book in the street and goes to return it, but panics and flees her porch. Meanwhile, a druidic high priestess named Debbie LeCure is hunting the spirit responsible for killings across the country. She races to Anton's town upon hearing about the murders.
So, Gene, the movie starts, and I have no idea where it's going. There's not zombies, but I'd accidentally read the description, so I knew the parents don't last long. And it's so sad because Fred Willard as Dad Tobias, fantastic. And the opening scene, it nails so much of the subtleties of married couples and the way they communicate. There's a spooky noise. They're tucking themselves into bed. They get the little PG kiss on the lips, and there's a noise, Gene. And it's terrifying. And she's clutching her robes. Like all of a sudden, whoever's breaking into the house is going to want to attack a woman in her late 50s in a bathrobe in this house, right? And the husband, Fred Willard, brilliantly, he just stops in the hall and he looks at her, clutching her robe, and without saying a word, he just pauses and shrugs, looking at her like, what do you expect's going to happen? How did I get here? It is funny. It is sharp. It is that single dialogue line where she looks and goes, aren't you going to go? And I wish we had more of these parents because they were great characters.
How are you going to give us 5 minutes of Fred Willard, God rest his soul? Fred Willard. We've seen him in Spinal Tap. We've seen him in Best in Show. He's funny everywhere he goes. He is such an incredible talent. And I agree, Big D. We rarely argue for a longer movie. Gene Lyons would happily sign up for maybe 5 more minutes of movie where we see the dynamic between Anton and his parents, because these two traditional couple, earnest suburban household mixed with Anton's stoner slacker ways don't reveal that he's the killer just yet. Just show us a day in the life, or maybe just a morning or the night before they all went to bed, right? What's going on in that family? I would pay to watch that. And on the topic of married couples in bed when something goes bump in the night, the other night, Sarah heard a sound coming from the garage. I am notorious for leaving the garage door open. At my old house, I had a Wi-Fi garage door opener, so I could just check on the app, and also it would like time out. So like after 5 minutes, if it was stuck open, it would just close itself unless you told it not to. So I got really lazy and sort of used that. I'm really bad at making sure the garage door is closed. So she hears the sound coming from the garage, says maybe somebody's in the garage. And Big D, instead of grabbing a gun or even like a flashlight or a baseball bat like you see in the movies, I threw on some shorts. I walked out there barefoot, shirtless, full Kid Rock. I did lock the door behind me in case there was like a hellhound or an Antifa out there trying to get my wife and kid. But everyone reacts to this sort of a situation differently. And whatever response to things that go bump in the night, I have never understood people like the Tobiases who just cling to their bed sheets. Like, do you really want to be lying down or even seated in bed when something bursts into the room?
No, but listen, Dad T wasn't clutching the sheets. Dad T said, fine, I'll go do it. Dad T went and did it. And listen, I'm all for equality. But it's amazing, Gene, how in certain situations, chivalry fucking goes out the window. There's no longer equality. You're expected as a man. You have to take your role. God forbid, I said to my wife, do the dishes. Oh my God, I don't know what she would say to me, but it's completely fine for her to expect me to have a certain like dad or husband job or role. Any scary thing, they look at me. If it's a bug, if it's a lizard, Gene, we got tons of lizards in Orlando. Noises. There's raccoons that we get that go up the soffit in the roof. Go get the raccoon. No, I don't want to go get the raccoon, but I do it because that's expected of me. That's my responsibility. I will go do it. I'll take the bullet and hopefully they can get out of the house, but at least pretend like you'll come with me.
Yeah, even in our household where Sarah has more martial arts training, more firearms training, more tactical training than I do, if there is a sound in the night, I go get it. And the other night I was coming home and she shot me a text message that said, grasshopper in the living room, it's huge. Now she's in bed with the door closed, right? Now I have to go find grasshopper. I'll give you 3 guesses where this grasshopper was in the living room.
Couch, in the sofa.
No, not there. No.
The cabinets.
No.
In the sink.
No. On top of a hanging lamp. Why would I look on top of a lamp for a grasshopper? He wasn't there, still at large. And Big D, we've talked before about humans are imperfect creatures. That some of the things about our design is not always great. The fact that we can easily be suffocated, can't go that long without oxygen. The fact that we have eyes that evolved from aquatic creatures that don't see very far on land and go bad very easily. Backs that can't withstand a couple decades of use, hips that are too narrow for birthing comfortably. Not great creatures. And this even comes down to when we're scared. The mammalian response, like our hardwired response to something scary, is to pull something up over us, you know? And maybe at some point in the monkey kingdom or something, that was handy when we were apes. But it's not, a sheet's not going to do you any good, guys. Just pull it over your head. But it is what your body wants to do to be safe, to be hidden. So, you know, we got to give Mrs. T a break.
But you know, Gene, also it's proven that the genders will hear noises differently.
What?
A female is attuned to hearing the baby cry, whereas a dad sleeps through it.
I do.
The dad will hear a strange noise while the mother sleeps through it. And it goes back to some ancient, primordial nature of us, that a dad would be sleeping through the baby crying, but be awakened by a threat to the family. So there is something that's finally like buried within our natural tendencies that it plays out. It's so funny. This many years later, when there's very few threats in the home, but we still act like our primate relatives.
And this would explain why lesbians and the babies of gay men are in danger. The lesbians don't hear a threat coming, and the babies don't get fed.
I didn't realize they were all under threat, but
look it up. It's right up there with the Batman shooting.
It probably is.
I want to get to the vibe in this movie. I am a big fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And as the movie opens up, after the kind of scary opening credits, we get the jack-o'-lantern, we get the camera panning over the suburban house. It looks very Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Add in Seth Green wisecracks, the obviously fake set pieces, the cartoonish depictions of the occult. Idle Hands is giving us all the things we love about that 90s era TV horror / comedy genre, complete with a slayer of sorts in Debbie LaCure. So her character, this high priestess, it's both lampooning and paying homage to that trope of a Van Helsing in a horror movie, right? That's hunting down the evil. And it's great that they cast Vivica A. Fox to let us know that this is intentional. And you really start to get keyed into how clever the film is and how much they want you to laugh when we see her tracking down this evil spirit, right? She's got a map and she's like, okay, it's going from this city to that city. She's marking little stars on a US map. And the stars make sort of like a half spiral, nothing that looks like a pentagram at all. So she like connects them with a big marker and then circles it. She's like, aha, it's a pentagram. That's the first point in the movie where I cracked a big smile and I was ready to go.
So this makes me think I completely misunderstand Buffy. Is it like this? It's satire? Is it completely like a parody of the genre?
It's a very self-aware TV series. When she's facing off against evil and there's like another sort of apocalyptic situation, everyone's like, oh, great, it's another apocalyptic situation under Sunnydale, California. There's a hellmouth opening up. And you get scenes like Spike, who is a vampire, when he needs to get from place to place during the daytime, he just pulls a leather biker jacket over his head and he runs with smoke coming out of the jacket from place to place. Even to the point where there are scenes involving other characters where in the background you see Spike just running from one building to another with smoke coming out of the jacket. It's very much there to make you laugh and to play on the tropes of horror movies. In fact, not to ramble too much about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you might be able to tell I'm a big fan, but Joss Whedon's entire intent in naming it Buffy the Vampire Slayer was to take people who would turn up their nose at something called Buffy the Vampire Slayer and eliminate them from the fan base. He really wanted people who were there for a good time and were open-minded enough to accept that sort of comedy.
But gee, this is the first time that makes me excited to go back and watch it. I didn't realize the series was that self-aware. I would almost like come up with an idea to do a rewatch of the television series with you some way, because I would watch it with you if it is self-aware and funny.
You just made about 60% of our listening audience wet or hard, depending on who they are with that. There have been so many people asking for a Buffy rewatch. Ash is going to come crashing through your window right now. Pandemonium will ensue.
Oh man, I would do it, because for me, as much as the humor in this film, I thought it was inspired by Beetlejuice. when you see the friends on the couch, one guy's got his head off, they're cracking jokes, they're taking bong hits, they're smoking. It felt like that macabre humor of Tim Burton in the Afterlife waiting room. The horror is played for laughs. The gore is treated like it's like a little sight gag. I felt this was a lot of Beetlejuice here. It was the characters wisecracking, the funny. I didn't have the Buffy to compare it to, but now I want to find out what I've been missing.
I think it's definitely a mix of those, right? Because you don't get those sorts of characters, the Mick and the Peanut in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that are that, let's say, grungy, right? But Buffy does have like kind of slacker friends that fall into that category, but it is definitely a different flavor. Idle Hands is doing its own thing. As Anton is returning from shopping, two former schoolmates bust him for having an empty baggie on him and littering after one of the cops dropped the baggie on the ground. Anton goes home and smokes oregano and nutmeg using the citation as rolling paper. Realizing that was a mistake, he goes to the kitchen to wash his mouth out and discovers a bloody knife and his mother's eyeball. Mick and Peanut show up and Anton shows them the bodies. Together, they figure out that Anton is the killer. Big D, my first exposure to Devon Sawa, the star of this film, was SLC Punk, where he played Sean. Sean was that kid who went crazy, had LSD in his pants, and he ran through sprinklers and he got way too high, tried to kill his mom, thought she was a demon. I thought that was just one role. I thought Devon Sawa was doing something very, very different there. But it turns out that's kind of his thing post Casper. He's really good at playing a stoner who is losing his mind. And there's this wildness to him, his eyes, that gap in his teeth, the way he smiles, the way he moves, that I really appreciate. It's a raw energy. It's incredibly interesting. It's not what we expected. It's not what we typically saw from 90s teen leads. And he said that that's a conscious decision he made, because when he was younger, he made Little Giants and he made Casper. The studios were really trying to make him the next big like teen heartthrob, and he did not want to go that way. So he decided to start taking these roles where he would play someone who was crazy or drug addled or both.
I did not know he was any of those. I remembered him from Final Destination.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I remember him from. And the physical comedy he does, it's tough. Most of the time, physical comedy, it either kills or it's cringe. And I thought he actually nailed it in the beginning, watching him wrestle with his own hand and trying to understand the boundaries of why it was doing what it was doing and how he could control it. I thought he nailed it. And he's wrestling. It gets funnier and funnier, and he's selling the ridiculous premise. Like Jim Carrey, when he does physical comedy, he's mugging it up and he's looking at us and he's throwing himself on the floor. And he makes it that in the end, he beats us down and we buy into it. But the way that Devon does it, I really did enjoy it. And the idea that you're going to be like possessed and just your hand has a function, it's funny, but the mechanics of it were limited. And I think that's where my problem with the film comes in. The concept of it is limited. So the humor is limited. The things they could do was limited. The hand can only accomplish so much. You can't imagine a way that maybe, let's say Anton, he could cover it up, he could tie it down, he handles it in his way, but I wish that there was some kind of possession they had done where he could be more, whether he was fighting half of his body. I know it sounds stupid, and I know you're going to come at me and be like, oh, well, he does. He handles it later on, but I just want the comedy to be funny. And when he's wrestling with his hand, yes, it's great. It's not your arm, Gene. It's your hand. Your hand can't tie up somebody on top of a car in the shop class. Your hand can't throw somebody down. There's no superpower. I just wish they had done some kind of possession that would have made logical and sense when it comes to leverage and ability, so that the hand could be something we could laugh at and also be afraid of.
Well, Big D, it's not just a hand. It's a supernatural possessed hand. It's got demonic forces behind it.
Yeah, you're right. A hand would not be interesting. This hand is so powerful, it can fly through windows. It can pull an entire human body up over a porch. Okay, that's why they had him cut it off. Did you completely miss the part of the movie where he cut his hand off?
No.
Yeah, that's the entire idea. The hand is limited because it's stuck to a human body. It becomes more of a danger when Anton sets it free. It's so powerful, it can self-propel. It can jump onto Dexter Holland's head and pull his scalp off. It's a very strong hand. It's not just a normal hand.
Maybe I was spoiled because I watched Wednesday with Emma, season 1, Netflix.
Okay.
And they do a really great job of animating and turning Thing, the hand, into a character.
You wanted a more charming hand, is what you're saying.
Yes, I wanted it to be able to express itself. Like when Thing walks around and he taps his finger, you can see when he's angry, when he's happy, when he's trying to convey information. I wanted that hand I wanted to be afraid of the hand. I was afraid of the damn puppet more than the hand.
You weren't afraid of the hand that sharpened itself into like daggers, scalped a man, and like killed multiple people? That part didn't freak you out?
I did like that. I did like the sharpening.
This hand is very expressive, okay? We see that it's horny, angry.
Right.
We see that it gets high.
Okay, you listen, later on it's fine touching boobs. That hand should have been all about Jessica Alba. That hand should have looked and given like a peace sign and been like, you know what? I'm going to take a break here. Let's both enjoy this experience, and then I'll go back to killing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a Casanova hand.
Oh, please.
It's a demonic hand.
Did you see that massaging those breasts? That hand was a Casanova hand.
What's after it was freed from its boy? Be a man hand.
Let him like experience everything. Then he might have been like a less stressed hand.
Yeah, -1 wipe for great boobs. Anton's right hand murders Mick with a glass bottle and decapitates P-Nub. Not enough for Big D. It throws his cat, Bones, out the window and then pulls Anton onto Molly's porch and rings her doorbell. Still not enough for Big D. Molly takes Anton into her room to make out, but her parents come home, so Anton leaves. When Anton buries his friends and parents' corpses in the backyard, Mick and Peanut come back as zombies and knock him out. Anton awakes, believing he had a terrible dream, but finds his zombie friends snacking in the living room. They tell him his neighbor Randy knows about all things Satan, so Anton asks Randy for advice, and Randy says Anton needs to keep his hand busy with other tasks so it won't kill any more people. Big D, I had a nostalgia moment while watching this movie. Landline phones and Two Live Crew. We get to see Two Live Crew's Pop That Pussy video. It had been years since I watched this. I watched it many a time as a teenager. And it got me thinking of the fact that we were so desperate for smut back in the days. I don't know if you know, but currently, I don't know if Florida's doing this, but Arizona, they just outlawed internet porn if you don't show ID. So basically, you have to prove that you are an adult, and major sites like Pornhub have been like, no dice, man. Like, we're not playing along with that, which I understand. You don't want to have your personal identification associated with the porn that you watch. I mean, if you think it's totally anonymous, you're fooling yourself, but still, Americans deserve to see whatever they want on the internet without identifying themselves. I do see the other side as a parent now. I do get it. It is way too easy to get your hands on porn, but I don't think that showing ID is the way to do it. Anyway, we may be returning to an age where porn was a lot harder to get. And in the 90s, it was super hard to get. And this is hard for kids today to comprehend. But we didn't have easy access to porn. What you could do was wait until your favorite music video came on. And then you had like 2 minutes to vigorously beat it until you got the job done. I think that's why I'm so efficient, honestly, was I was always working on a timer. Until I got wise and I got one VHS tape and I filled it with an hour of MTV's The Grind and then a few select music videos, particularly from Madonna and Two Live Crew. Justify My Love. Did you ever jerk it to music videos, or were you a more sophisticated connoisseur of pornography?
I never like had a VHS tape of it, but I would think that may have triggered like, ooh, this would be a great idea. I'm in my room because I had a VCR on a little TV. It may have initiated the sequence which led to it. But for me, off the top of my head, Gene, 3 videos came to mind. Cherry Pie.
No, Warrant?
Just hold on.
When he does that big smile, though, it kills your boner.
Cradle of Love.
Yeah.
Billy Idol.
Okay.
And then I also, when I was younger, I don't know, I had a thing for the Go-Go's.
Yeah.
For Belinda Carlisle, it was strange because it wasn't very sexual. but Belinda Carlisle, I think, did it for me. Even White Snakes with like Tawny Katane on the hood.
Yeah.
It did a little something for me. But to go back, Gene, where you're talking about complaining about having to give ID to see porn, you think it's terrible. I almost think the opposite to you. I think if we had everybody have an accountability to whatever you did, social media account is your name. You want to go on Instagram and say something, it's your name. You want to have a YouTube channel, it's your name. You want to go watch porn, hey, it's your name. I think if everybody was accountable to what they did online, I think we'd be a better place.
Okay, cop.
Don't complain. Just be proud about who you are. Be out and proud. Gene, what would be in your search history that you're so worried about me finding out or sharing?
I mean, we've been over before that I'm pretty meat and potatoes. You know what I used to like a lot of is like the casting ones.
I don't know. I kind of like milking tables.
Because it's low effort.
I can't explain, but there's like a mystery to it. I think
Kimby and I always talk about this is one of the really difficult things about us for having sex is if we're going to do it, we got to do it well. I've never mastered the art of just like being like, just okay. And when you get into high volume situations like marriage, that could be a lot. It's a lot to keep up. When you were just doing the one-off, random hookups, it was like, okay, cool. I'm going to be awesome. So the milking table, I thought we were going to say basically is like, that's a time when you could be like, if you feel that pressure to always be on, then that's a time when like your only job is to just lay there. Are you an always on? Like, do you feel like a pressure to always knock it out of the park every at bat?
I even like the female thing, like where they have the little hole and their legs are out. I don't know what it is. It's a weird thing.
A glory hole?
No, but it's almost like as if it's like where their leg.
Oh, like the check one.
Yes,
Yeah.
the check one.
Yeah, the check one. I don't like that at all.
No.
Whenever the camera goes over to the lady side, I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, I think at the
No.
end I always feel dirty anyway. But
It feels like cattle.
yeah, oh, now you just ruined that shit for me.
Yeah, well, you gave me warrant. I gave you that.
Fuck.
I would feel bad about where this was going, other than the fact that it's for Christopher. So this is like the perfect review for him.
Yeah,
I think this is right up his alley.
I think it is. I think this would be a conversation that the guys are having on the couch. I think this is what they would be talking about: getting high, girls, music videos. That's what they're about, and that's the part of the film I like. I think it works the best for me. Anton, yes, he's good. He's fighting his hand. We get the comedy. But the buddies, the buddies make most movies for me. And it's what I enjoy. And we get Seth Green, we get Eldon Henson. They show up, and it's the two dead buddies. And I love the fact that they show up. They come over. He's like, yeah, I think I killed my parents. And they're like, oh, they're dead, but yet they're still polite. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. T, how you doing? And on the floor, written in blood, is Aunt. And the one guy goes, Aunt, well, do you think ants did this? And the other guy goes, no, stupid. It's probably like a relative, like an evil aunt or something. These two dumb idiots, and watching them fumble around. The movie without these two characters would have been a tough watch for me, but I thought they were pretty funny and kept everything moving. They were the spark plug that made this movie go.
Watching Mick and Peanut, I realized what so many other movies were trying to do and failed. Like, we've seen so many 80s movies. We're like, what are these characters doing here? Why do they exist? They're dragging the movie down. They didn't need to be there, whether it's sidekicks or just like weirdo duos that drop jokes but couldn't stick the landing. Mick, Peanut, and Anton, they're all absolute losers and hilarious to watch. And when I say absolute losers, that absolute matters, because we've seen so many movies where a character's supposed to be a loser. I'm looking at you, Christian Slater, like you're supposed to be a loser, but you're not really a loser. You're not leaving your house in your mom's slippers and your boxer shorts and forgetting that you don't have pants on just because you're trying to score weed, right? You're not spending all day just eating cheese puffs on the couch and not having any friends. Like, if you noticed, none of these guys have any friends other than each other. They don't really know anybody at school. We're talking real losers, not Adam Sandler in The Wedding Singer with all of his charm.
I don't necessarily think they're complete losers. There was something innocent about them. They were somewhat honestly dumb. They were oblivious to life, and it felt genuine to me. But what shocked me was when you watch this, and I said, oh, Seth Green's in it. okay, let's see what he could do with this role. Seth Green is Seth Green. He has built a career. Now we're going back. This is 99, 25 years basically later. Seth Green has made a career on being Seth Green. He is the same character in every movie. He delivers his witty, sarcastic lines, his mannerisms. It's identical every film. Can't Hardly Wait. Austin Powers. You could mix and match the characters. They are the same. And yes, I did enjoy him in the role, but I can't take away the fact that I feel the performance, it feels recycled. Everything he does is the same. I enjoyed it. But at the same point, I'm like, holy shit, is it that easy to please me that I will take Seth Green exactly the same in every role and just slurp it up?
I think the wise thing they do here with Seth Green is Seth Green doesn't get to be like the main guy in a movie. So you get him in small doses. Seth Green, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The key to making this work is that he's cool, so it makes it okay. Like being the same guy and being over the top is a problem, but being the same guy and being a little understated, a little cool, just chill, right? He's just got a chill to him. That works. Other guys who are always themselves, they can wear on you. I don't know if you've watched Jack Black in a movie other than Nacho Libre lately. Like, when's the last time you saw a Jack Black movie?
I thought it was Jumanji, or like one of the sequels to Jumanji.
Does he do that like trumpet thing? Does he do any sort of melodic thing? Does he do it?
Of course he does.
Yeah. When he does that, like I want to jump out a
he
fucking window.
He does.
Incredibly good guy. I like Jack Black. I like him. I liked him in High Fidelity. I think he's a good person. I follow him on social media, but it's an incredibly stale shtick. Like he does it all the time. It's a little bit much, and he's always Jack Black. Seth Green, on the other hand, his cool makes it acceptable.
But I think it's more grounded. We all know a Seth Green. We have a Seth Green at some point in our life. We've met somebody like him. Somebody who is very dry, very sour, very quick-witted. The Jack Black, it's thankfully none of us know him. So I'm not complaining. You know what? It works, but I'm just like, holy shit. There is no one from his manager to anyone in his life who thought he would be as successful as he's been, because he's not exactly diverse in the roles he takes. So bravo, Seth.
Responding to a noise complaint, the cops that busted Anton raid his house upon seeing Mick and Peanut's zombified bodies. Anton's hand kills the two cops. Still not enough for Big D. So Anton cuts it off with the cleaver. He traps the hand in a microwave, burning it, but Peanut and Mick accidentally release it while microwaving a burrito. The boys steal Randy's truck and head to the school where Mick and Peanut go to the Halloween dance to watch over Molly while Anton looks for the hand. Randy and Debbie team up to hunt down Anton before the hand can drag Molly's soul into the netherworld. Anton crashes the dance and tries to warn everyone, but his hand scalps Dexter Holland of The Offspring and causes a panic. Molly and her friend Tanya escape through the vents, but the hand hangs Tanya from a whip that pulls her to her death in an industrial fan.
Why the hell do movies love giant fans so much? I understand it's a parody, so we have to talk about things that we see in other films. But they're crawling. The girls are crawling through the school vents. And then they come across the giant chopping fan. And I think immediately, and this is why we've been doing the podcast too long, I off the top of my head quickly could think of like 5 films with comically large fans. Tango and Cash. They're escaping the prison and they wedge something in the fan. How about The Rock? Same thing. They got a time getting through the fan. Willy Wonka's got the giant fan in the top of the bubbly section of the park. Or Highlander 2. The giant fan in the ceiling actually kills an immortal. Why does Hollywood have such a fetish with oversized ventilation systems, Gene?
But don't you think like this one was intentionally gigantic?
Yes, but why? I want to know the original. I understand this is a parody of that. Why does Hollywood think, you know what, Gene, we have to come down. It's the climax here. They're going to come across a giant, comically large fan.
2 theories on this. One, you can save a lot of money on set design if a person just has to crawl through a vent. You just set up a camera, an event, and you can shoot like 15 minutes of footage without having to do anything else. I think the other thing is sneaking around. Like they needed a way from people to get from point A to point B. So they had to have some ventilation system for to get there. And then they're like, wait, what kind of threat can there be in the ventilation system? I know a giant fan. And in idle hands, Peanut and Mick, they're crawling through the vent side by side. And there's like an additional foot of clearance over their heads. I was thinking like John McClane could drive a semi-truck through this air vent. And yeah, you see the fan, you see the whip go through the fan, you see a shoe is the only thing holding that fan. You know somebody's getting chopped up in it. I thought it was going to be the hand. Turns out it's Tanya.
Was there a giant fan in Who's Harry Crumb? I know he gets shot out that air vent.
Yeah, there is.
But I feel like there's a big...
I think they turn on the AC unit, yeah.
Yeah. Big fans.
Christopher mentioned Jessica Alba in this movie. I want to point out she was 17 years old when this movie was made.
Oh, no.
Did Jessica Alba's sexuality make you at all uncomfortable?
Now that I know she was 17, it does.
Right?
At the time, it didn't.
Her outfit comes off on that car lift, and I'm like, oh, okay. Now I see why people like Jessica Alba. And then I looked up how old she was when this movie was made, and she was 17. And I know she doesn't do nude scenes or anything, but she was a minor when this movie was made, and her entire character in this film is like, ooh, grab my ass. Ooh, you're kinky. Watch me dance like this. Oh no, I'm in my panties. I get that this character is supposed to be a little freaky, but I kind of wanted her to be like freaky and empowered, right? Like I wanted like a Fairuza Balk, so I'd feel less icky about it.
Yeah, I also felt bad for her, but I think here's the reason you felt ickier than I did. When we first meet her, okay, she's introduced us as like these artsy pixie girl on a scooter.
Yeah.
I said, holy shit, Jean is going to pop a boner. Then she drops her poetry journal. I'm like, boner even bigger. Like you took like some kind of like Viagra or Cialis.
Yeah, boner
she
intensifies.
Seems artsy. She seems different. She seems like she's going to be a character with some kind of angsty vibe, that she's going to add something to it. And instead of framing her as Jean's dream girl, it immediately goes the other way, and they turn her into like a trope of a character. I understand. We've talked about it. Girls like bad boys. But then all of a sudden she's attracted to this guy, and it doesn't make any sense. Anton's covered in blood. He's acting insane. He's choking her, and she still wants to hook up with him. It made me sad that they didn't let this character develop in a way that you could have added to it. When we first see her on the scooter, that's somebody I want to see play against what's going on with Anton. Instead, they just turn into a dumb character who doesn't think and just is like, oh, touch my ass. I hope he shows up to the dance on time.
I was so convinced that she was going to be even freakier than the hand. You know, like that's the thing that turned her on, and that she would like foster this thing, sort of a Heathers sort of thing where she like wants to kill too, and that she thinks the hand is cool. That would have been a really fun movie to watch, but that's not really what we got. And her dancing is truly awful. Like it doesn't even match the music. It was so bad.
She's not there for that. Did you ever see her in Into the Blue?
Mm-mm. Saw her in Sin City.
Early 2000s, Into the Blue with Paul Walker, where they're doing some kind of underwater diving for treasure. Absolute smoke show. She was the object of many boys' attraction back then.
Never got naked though.
I respect that.
Even her nude scenes in like Sin City, that was like digital.
But I know she was on the cover of Playboy.
Yeah.
Was she not in Playboy?
Nope.
But Gene, there's still time. She could still do it.
That's true. Well, the hand knocks out Molly in the school's art room, but Anton arrives and fights the hand while it is inside a puppet. It escapes to the auto shop where Molly is strapped to a car being raised toward the ceiling. Mick finds a bong, and he and P-Nub smoke for strength, while Anton blows some smoke into the hand puppet, and it drops the controls. Debbie throws a ritual knife into the hand, stopping it in a puff of smoke and fire. When P-Nub accidentally hits the controls for the lift, Anton is crushed by the car. He survives and is taken to a hospital, having given up heaven to stay with Molly, making P-Nub appear as his guardian angels.
So in these horror comedies, there's a fine balance. I say this a lot. It's about a balance of what a film wants to be. And I don't feel like the balance is correct in this. There's a lot of laughs, but there's not enough scares. I think it leans too far into the comedy, the ridiculous angle, whereas you need to at least get a genuine scare here and there to keep us on our edge so we don't know what to expect. In the end, it devolves into a possessed hand puppet who then gets high as Anton blows, like he takes a hit off the giant exhaust pipe, shop-made turbo bong, and blows it, gets the hand high, even though the hand doesn't have lungs, and it gets stoned, it falls on the ground. It's not frightening. It's not clever. It doesn't blend the genres. I think the movie tried to play both ends of the scale, and when you do that, it doesn't work. I wasn't scared, and the laughs weren't original and creative enough to balance out the lack of true horror or jump scares.
Yeah, I thought about that. And I think if we were evaluating this as a horror comedy, it would need to be scary at times. I really saw this as like a slasher comedy where it doesn't need that horror factor. Consider how weird this movie would be if we were spooked at any point. I really want to laugh, but I keep getting scared. I really want to be scared, but I keep laughing. I think Idle Hands, it made me laugh the way Tucker and Dale versus Evil made me laugh, right? There's no point in the movie where I'm scared. The gore, the slasher part of it is there for the oh shit laughs. He just threw a cat through a window. He just put a bottle through his friend's head. He just cut his friend's head off. His parents are dead. Like it's not there to scare us or creep us out. It's there for more laughs.
But I think at least then give us some creativity. I enjoyed in the Friday the 13th series that when they got towards the end, they became creative. Jason would pick up a camper in a sleeping bag and slam him against a tree. Let the hand be creative. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay, hold on. The hand kills one person in a fan, tries to kill another person with an auto lift, kills a person with a circular saw blade, kills a person by putting a bottle through their head, kills a person with a taser, kills a person by putting a knitting needle through their head, pulls out mom's eyeball and feeds it to a cat. I mean, what do you want? Is that all the kills? Were there more?
I wanted more.
Oh, and scalps Dexter Holland of The Offspring.
I think I like that one. That one I like. But I don't know what the hell I wanted. I just wanted something. I wanted something unexpected. Those were all expected. Oh, he's knitting. Knitting needles are going through somebody's head. They were all, I could see them all coming. I wanted one that would just honestly be shocked.
You saw a hand puppet tying Jessica Alba to a car and putting her on a lift going toward a ceiling coming?
No, but once we were introduced to the scene, yes. Okay, fine. Still.
Once I saw the lift and the hand puppet near the controls and Jessica Alba strapped to it, I knew where this was going.
Oh, fuck you.
You're not fooling Big D.
Oh, fuck you. Fine.
Now's the time of the podcast we give our Shat score for Idle Hands. The Shat score is our way of telling you how many wipes this movie takes to get off your respective butts. 0 wipes is a perfect movie. It's when marijuana saves an otherwise disastrous day. And 5 wipes is an absolute disaster of a film. It's when you got to go through all this, Tanya. I'll go first, Big D. Now knowing about the Columbine situation, I no longer have to ask the question, how did this movie bomb? Idle Hands is everything a classic Halloween movie should be. It's funny. It gets you in the mood for the spooky season. It's got some gore to it. It's got some sex to it. It's got some teenage losers to it. It's got what I think is some creative ways to die. And while it's not a perfect film, I certainly think it's an excellent film and one of my new Halloween favorites. I'm going 1.5 wipes.
God, I feel bad now because, I want to be honest what I think, but at the same point, you've fought a valiant fight. You've been honorable in your attempt to defend this film, but I have to go with my original 3.25 wipes. And again, maybe it's my taste in films. I'm not a huge fan of satire. Scary Movie, as a parody of Scream and other slasher films, I got what it was doing. Here, I don't think it succeeded as well. Yes, we can blame it failing on Columbine, but there's also something to say about the film itself. And the reviews it got at the time weren't great. They could have done so much more with the material in the cast. 3.25 wipes, Gene. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to Christopher.
Big D, I could pull up other movies that you gave 3.25 wipes, but I'm not going to do that. In the spirit of Halloween and peace, I'll go ahead and accept your score, horrible as it is. It gives us an average wipe score of 2.375 wipes for Idle Hands.
But Gene, that's still better than an average film. Is that wrong? Okay, so let's look at what else is in that range. Okay, that's in the 196 spot. Young Guns, The Great Outdoors, Natural Born Killers, The Warriors, Hard Bodies, Matilda, and Ronin.
But that's not what you said.
Like
what you said is it's 3.25 wipes. So that would put this on par with, let me just give you, I wasn't going to do it, but you made me do it, Big D. That means that this movie is on par with Cabin Boy, Beowulf, Clue. Oddly enough, you said Flash Gordon.
Nah, Clue's better. Clue's
I thought you loved Flash Gordon.
No, that's got to be an error on this.
No, I think
I did.
You gave Flash Gordon, according to the Shat rankings, 3.25 wipes.
That's a technical error. I think that's a mistake.
Or maybe you came to your senses on that review. I don't know. But you're saying that this movie is not as good as Masters of the Universe, The Legend of Billie Jean, Porky's, or The Phantom Menace.
I feel bad for saying that, but I'm being genuine. I mean, I would have rather watched Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, that's a better movie.
I would watch that thing 100 times.
This is what we call a scale. That's what we call a scale.
I think it was.
Yeah. You're saying that this is a below average.
I mean, I would change it to 3.
Significantly below average.
But again, I will give it the caveat that this is not my cup of tea.
Well, Christopher, I hope you're satisfied with that wipe score and have a happy Halloween. Big D, what do we have coming up next week?
Gene, this was the appetizer for the Spooktacular. Next week, we go full-blown scare the shit out of you. There's no funny like, ooh, hand in a puppet. Let's have fun. Oh, I'm tied in a car in the shop class. No, next week, when Sally hears that her grandfather's grave may have been vandalized, she and her paraplegic brother, Franklin, set out with their friends to investigate. After a detour to their family's old farmhouse, they discover a group of crazies, murderous outcasts living next door. As the group is attacked one by one by a chainsaw-wielding Leatherface who wears a mask of human skin. This is what you should be afraid of, Gene. This is scary as shit. The survivors must do whatever it takes to escape. Commissioned by Eric C. And I cannot wait to see this film.
Eric, excited to be doing the upcoming film for you. I think it's a great choice for spooky season. Idle Hands, also a great choice, Christopher. Thank you to both of you, commissioners, for making this podcast possible. Thank you to all the commissioners who make this podcast possible. That concludes this episode of Shat The Movies. You should follow us on social media and share with a friend. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram at Shat The Movies. You can email us, host@shatpod.com. Support the podcast by shopping our Amazon affiliate link, buying our merch, or by commissioning your own movie. Find all information by visiting our website, shatpod.com. Also, check out our sister podcast, Shat on TV, review TV series such as Lovecraft Country, Westworld, True Detective, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, and Watchmen. Find all information on our website, shatpod.com/TV, wherever fine podcasts can be found, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, and if you stop by Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. That helps the podcast grow. On behalf of my co-host, Big D, I'm Gene Lyons. Be sure to join us next week for the following movie.
This is the movie that Rex Reed called the most horrifying motion picture I have ever seen. This film is positively ruthless in its attempt to drive you right out of your mind.
Sally, I hear something. Stop. Stop.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. From New Line Cinema. Rated R.
Losers, not Adam Sandler in The Wedding Singer with all of his charm. With all of his charm.
With all of his charm.